Some of you may have pulled out your maps when you got the invitation to this conference, and you may have wondered when you saw where Grand Rapids is located, 32 miles inland from Lake Michigan. We're not a coastal city, and most members of the GLSLCI are, in fact, coastal cities. So why are the people of Grand Rapids so interested in the Great Lakes issues, and why is their mayor so involved in this initiative? The answer is simple. But our history with the Great Lakes is rather complicated. Oh dear, in printing we lost a page. Before we get to this slide, hold that slide up there, that's fine. But let me say that the earliest settlers in the Great Lakes, in the Grand River Valley, were the tribes of Odawa, Chippewa, and Potawatomis. They came to this place annually, right on the banks of the river, right where we will have our dinner tonight, actually. And it was a powwow location where they celebrated their differences, their commonalities, where they reaffirmed their commitment to peace among those three nations. They fished in the river, they hunted along its banks, they feasted, and they enjoyed each other. The next settlers who came to the river this river valley were not so kind. This state was heavily logged, and the rivers became simply convenient means of moving logs from the places where they were cut to the mills where they were processed. This was a time when much of Michigan's rich topsoil ran off into the rivers and washed out to Lake Michigan and on to out into Lake Huron. The apex of our disregard for this natural wonder, the Grand River, came during the Industrial Revolution. Grand Rapids prospered as a Midwest manufacturing center, and furniture was king. At one time, Grand Rapids was the undisputed furniture capital of the world. Over 100 trains arrived or left from the Central Station, Union Station in Grand Rapids every day. But the river was ignored. Or rather, it was abused. It was used as a vehicle to take wastewater from the manufacturing process, chemicals and human waste, away from our midst. And where it goes, nobody knows. But we do know. It goes out into Lake Michigan, the jewel of the Great Lakes. With combined sewers that overflowed during high rain events, by the 1960s, Grand Rapids was contributing 12 billion gallons of untreated or partially treated sewage to the Grand River and therefore to the Great Lakes each year. Something had to be done, and something was done. Grand Rapids launched the most aggressive combined sewer separation project yet in the state. From 1992 until today, we reduced our sewage discharge into the Grand River by 99%. Here's that lovely slide that was supposed to be second. Please skip over that one and go to the next one. By the end of this decade, we will have eliminated all discharge, and we will have invested over $1,750 for every man, woman, and child, and a few cats and dogs living in our city, a total of $350 million. In addition, we have discontinued chemical disinfection of our wastewater, substituting ultraviolet light. We have launched a massive annual Mayor's Grand River cleanup. Last year, well over 200 of our citizens came out on a Saturday morning in early October to haul trash out of the river. We've built a network of river walks throughout our downtown, bringing people closer to the river. And what's the result of this investment of money and energy? Well, the river has become a recreational resource, a spectacular fall salmon run, and an equally impressive spring steelhead run line the riverbanks downtown with fishers and with those who love to watch those magnificent fish jump up the fish ladder on their way to their spawning grounds. Boating has become a popular pastime, and Regional crew competitions are held out on the Grand Rapids Boat and Canoe Club, just north of downtown, in the still waters of the river beside Riverside Park. We love this river, and we're doing all we can to protect it. The Grand River and Lake Michigan still represent for us a commercial asset, but now their value is in attracting tourism to our region. The sugar sand beaches of Lake Michigan are a short drive from here, and during the season, charter boats pull out every day to troll with clients for king and coho salmon, for lake trout, and the giant lake-run Michigan brown trout. Can you imagine the fun? Can you hear the cash registers jingling? Grand Rapids knows that protecting the river and the lakes is important. Since airborne particulate matter is the single largest source of Great Lakes pollution, we are doing something about our air quality. Our efforts include a commitment of 20% reduction in non-renewable resource power by the end of next year, a goal that we are achieving through conservation, landfill gas power generation, and wind power generation. Our public transportation system was recognized as best in the nation last year for a city our size. We've begun replacing our diesel buses with hybrid electric buses like this one, and we're less than 2 years away from the construction of our first fixed guideway system. Knowing that buildings add significantly to air pollution, we have adopted policy binding the city to lead construction for any municipal building built in the future, and we're ensconcing lead incentives actually into our zoning codes. The result is an explosion of LEED certified buildings in Grand Rapids, making us the city with the greatest number of LEED buildings per capita in the country, and third in absolute numbers of LEED buildings. Notable firsts in LEED: the nation's first LEED certified municipal building, the nation's first LEED certified multimodal transit center, the nation's first LEED certified YMCA, the nation's first LEED certified newly constructed art museum where we had our reception last evening, and even the nation's first LEED certified rectory. No developer comes before the Grand Rapids City Commission without being challenged to build LEED. But by now, most developers start their presentations with, "I want to build a LEED certified building." We're coming to a growing understanding that a sustainable city is one that not only preserves its water and its air, but it invests in its people, and it grows a different sort of economy than that which we've known. So we are a city committed to the triple bottom line. And since this is a conference about triple bottom line sustainability, let me tell you a few other facts briefly about our fair city of Grand Rapids. Last January, Grand Rapids received the designation by the United Nations University as a center of expertise in education for sustainability, along with Toronto, which was designated last year, and in joining Saskatchewan, which also received the designation when we did. We represent the only North American cities so far designated, and we are 3 among only 35 in the world. The UN not only expects us to do exemplary triple bottom line work, but to replicate it, assisting other communities in their sustainability work. So a great effort has begun through the West Michigan Strategic Alliance to bring all West Central Michigan communities into partnership for sustainability. Together we are doing household lead safety work. We're working on regional transportation solutions. We're building a new economy based in part on life sciences research and health care. Thank you so much, Consul General, for mentioning the article in the New York Times yesterday. I have about 150 copies down here if you happen to miss it. The Medical School of Michigan State University recently announced that it is moving the entire School of Human Medicine to Grand Rapids over the next 3 years, and construction is underway on its campus. We have 13 colleges and universities within the metropolitan area, 9 of which have downtown campuses. And manufacturing is experiencing a resurgence in Grand Rapids. Only this time it's high-tech, high-pay jobs in sustainable industries. Now, I know that any one of you could get up and tell a similar story about your city. It just so happened that I had some control over the agenda. You're members of the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative because you care about these Great Lakes. And if you care about the lakes, you can't help but care about the people who depend on them. Peter Annan begins his important book, The Great Lakes Water Wars, with this quote: "It has been said that the 20th century was the century of oil. The 21st century will be the century of water." We, the members of the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, are mayors of cities and states and provinces that border nearly 1/5 of the earth's fresh surface water. Decisions we make today at the municipal level and advocacy we do at the federal, provincial, and state levels will shape the future of the Great Lakes. Will these bodies of water continue to give joy to generations of recreationists? Will they supply our physical needs? Will they inspire our poets? It's up to us, mayors and municipal officials, to save the Great Lakes. For what each one of us has already done, the world is grateful. But what we have done is not all that we can do. Indeed, it is not all that we must do. Today, right now, we must dedicate ourselves to the restoration of these sacred waters. The generations unborn will bless us or curse us for the actions that we take or don't take today. There is no time. A degradation process, decades in the making, is already well advanced. It is destroying the very thing that we love and depend on. It can be reversed, but not without each one of us and countless others putting our shoulders together, using all the creative energy that we have, and not resting until the job is done. Today I am hopeful, not because of what I see in the Great Lakes, but because of what I see in your eyes. We are on a mission. We must succeed. We will succeed. Thank you very much.